All right, let me welcome you again. And this is such an exciting thing. I'm also going to mute everyone if you're not already muted. Thank you. Um, this is a very, very exciting time. It's the beginning of 2023. And as you have already felt and it's coming in, you know that there is very large shifts going on. And among your friends, in your own life, huge shifts. Things are happening. Things are happening in your family, people that you know, people you're familiar with, as well as happening in the community that we live in our extended families, in the society, community, economics, the planet itself, the turmoil that the planet itself is going through. So obviously we are at a place, at a cusp of some major changes, which engulfs everyone. And it is a universal change, right? So one is that, first of all, we know that we cannot separate ourselves. When there's a big tide coming in and it's churning the place up, we are a part of it. So we have to do the best we know. And one of the purposes of this particular session is to be able to give some good ideas on how we can manage that here. So here we are at this wonderful time, and we have a great responsibility. We can either facilitate the movement and make it easy for ourselves and everybody else in our lives, or we can resist and hold on and then, be bashed around against the rocks that come because we really can't push that tide back. So the best thing is to sort of, climb up on top of the movement and float and swim and, relax on your back. Imagine that this was water. Then that's what you would have to learn to do. So one of the things that we have to do is look at this time with open hearts. If our heart is not open, then be assured that you'll feel heavy and dense and you will be like that rock that is getting pushed around. But when we have an open heart and a clear mind, that is buoyant. That will sort of help us rise up and not be drowned in this. So this is what we want to look at. Now, originally, I had said we will do 7 simple steps. Then I was talking with a friend of mine, and he said, don't make it sound like this is simple and easy. So I said, well, I never said easy. I just said simple. Doesn't mean easy. So I took that feedback to heart. So I removed the easy part, and I put in instead 7 vital steps. These are very important steps that we have to somehow or the other bring in. It's not an overnight, oh, I know how to do that step like a hopscotch, so let's just jump into that. If you're already practicing it, it's great. Otherwise, we have to practice, we have to get into the rhythm of doing that. That's one point. The other is that these are not sequential steps. It's not as if you have to finish one and then you move to the next one. These are all concurrent. And as we sort of look at this, what I would like to do is I'm trying to capsule over here in this 1 hour, 20 years of learning that I have gone through. And, it takes time, it takes application. However, thank you for giving me this opportunity to share this, because this is really the essence of everything that I've learned in all these 20 years, or even more actually. So what let me do is go through this process and just make a quick presentation. I'm just going to, walk through, and I know it'll bring up a lot of questions. I might say something and you'll say, I don't know what this is. How do I apply it in my situation? And then put that in the little question. So I'll try and keep my presentation confined to as close to half an hour as I possibly can. But And then, we will open up to responding to some of your reactions to this. Okay, so let me quickly pull up just the 7 steps, as I have mentioned to you. 7 vital steps, I'm calling them. The first step is you're not alone. So you don't have to do this just by yourself. There is more to you than you may have paid attention to. So that's the first one. And I'm going to get into the details of that a little bit. But second is that you own your soul sovereignty. There's nobody else to bring things into your life. Everybody is there to help you or to hinder you or to stop you. But ultimately, it's what you do and how you hold your energy field. That's what's going to make your life the way you want it. How would you like to see your life? Have you thought of that? What is 2023 going to look like? That's the next thing. And then we go into building our attractor field consciously. So because that's what you have imagined, we have to bring that in here and then make friends with your subconscious. We have to learn to convert fear into love. And finally, learn to dial up. And I'll explain to you what that means. So before we go into the details, let's do a quick little meditation. And I'm going to ask you to set everything aside and take a nice deep breath. And you want to get into your body. Which means that as you take that breath in, you will pay attention to how the body feels, because nothing really works until it is embodied. It remains in the mental space, in the mind space. But to bring it into the energetic reality, we have to embody it. So the breath is the best way of doing that. So nice deep breath. Feel the body, the sensations, which part of you is calling your attention. Tightness, stress, heaviness. And give it the attention, which means that you address your breath energy. That's your life energy. Address it to that part of the body. And let that space expand. And when you feel a little bit centered and relaxed and in your body, I invite you to take yourself to a time in 2023, maybe 6 months from now, maybe towards the end of the year, maybe even beyond. It doesn't matter when. I want you to visualize that time. Maybe a day, maybe a week. And here is the question. What is happening? How are you living? What have you created? How are you feeling? And don't worry about how it'll come about. Right now, what you want to do is right now what you want to do is visualize how would you like it to be. Feel how would you like it to be. If everything that you're asking for in 2023 comes true, what will it be like? If your mind wants to jump into, but how will I get there? Tell the mind it's okay, chill, relax. But do pay attention to all the stuff that is coming up behind in the mind. The mind has this habit of distracting us. So we'll take a couple more minutes. And do pay attention to what the mind is saying. And before we leave this space, again, pay attention to the body. How is the body feeling? And see the picture that you've created in your mind as if it were on a screen in front of you. And release the screen. Let it float up. And send it to the highest intelligence that you are able to access. Send it out into the universe, to existence, to life, to God, to spirit, however you define that. Okay, and whenever you're ready, open your eyes and come back to this space. All right, and some of you have recently joined and you weren't here when I had requested that if you are on a handheld device, please keep it steady. Otherwise, it tends to be very distracting on the screen. Thank you. So let's look at that first step, which is you are not alone. You are a part of this universe. You are a part of this existence. We give it different kinds of names. As you're a part of God's bigger design. You can call it universe, you can call it existence, you can call it higher, the divine. How you define it, what is your expression or word for it, is not as important as the acceptance that there is a bigger picture here, that there is a greater design of which I am a part. And know that that is intelligence. That is intelligent. It's not, you are not a quirk of creation. There is a very clear and definite plan by virtue of which you are here today in this body at this time, sitting over here at the cusp of this new era we are moving into. And your soul is very active in that field. So nothing happens in your life which is not a part of the bigger design. And it can really, really, it can really bother you when you are resisting it. When we haven't cultivated the multiple skills that we need in order to be able to just dance and spring through it, which is really what we are supposed to be doing. Not that life will become a dance all the time. We will have to learn the steps. Sometimes they're pretty intricate, but that's okay. But in the mind, we cannot allow ourselves to go, oh my goodness, God doesn't love me because all these difficulties are coming in my. We cannot get there. Our mind is a great saboteur. We cannot allow the mind to go there. So you have to connect with this higher intelligence. Everything that you want to create in your life comes from that higher existence. It is already in existence in the higher realms of the vibrations. We are talking energy here, right? So there is a dense energy, which is the densest part is the body, the earth, the bones, and the skin. But the mind, the emotions, keeps getting refined. The heart, the love, the imagination, all that, the intuition, all that belong to higher levels of consciousness. And that level of consciousness is constantly rising. And when we say connect with your high self, what are we saying? We are saying connect with the highest level of intelligence that you are able to access today. Because sometimes when you're sitting in meditation and you take a nice deep breath and suddenly you get an epiphany. Where did that come from? It's knowledge, it's intuition, it's inspiration. Where is it coming from? It is coming from you, but it's coming from a much higher level of consciousness that you are operating at. So we have to keep that channel open. We have to consciously make connection. So if you don't have a practice already where you're connecting to your higher intelligence, start one. It doesn't have to be long and arduous and a big deal. My little prayer is Spirit and I are one. Spirit and I are one. And I say it multiple times a day. What does it mean? It means I am working on behalf of Source. Everything that I do, I feel, I think, I act upon, I'm doing it for the whole universe, for existence itself, for spirit. I'm being guided. Again, it's not always easy, but it's a great prayer. You may have your own prayer. But whatever it is, you may have a chant, you may have a meditation that you like to do. It doesn't matter what. But it's very important that we remember that we are not separate. We are not separate from anybody. We are not separate from existence. Everything that I do affects the entire universe. And everything that is happening in the universe is happening to me somewhere in here. There is no separation. I cannot throw anything out of my life. If it's in my awareness, it's in my life. The energy is already there. So this is very important. And we have to make the non-physical our ally. When I say the non-physical means what? We've grown up thinking about angels and guardian angels and archangels and God and devas and great prophets of light and the light beings. All these are non-physical beings. They inhabit these higher realms that we are talking about beyond this physical reality. And they are our allies. They're waiting there to help us. All we have to do is say, I need help here. Show me how. Plug it into my mind, download that wisdom, and that information comes. So we just have to open that up. So that's it. You make your non-physical your ally. The second point is own your soul sovereignty. You know that this truth, everybody who is here, at least I know, belongs to the group. We know that we are not, this physical form is by choice by the soul. It's not an accident. We are here to do something, right? And so there is a greater part of me which is far beyond this physicality. And anything I want to create in my life in the future does not merely, this body, the mind, the first three chakras, the body, the emotions, and the mind, that field, the abdominal place where it's all held, has to actually do the work. But what the work will be comes from the higher levels. The direction comes from there. And so if I'm trying to create a new work environment, I have to bring that reality down from the outer reality into my three-dimensional reality. And before we get the mind involved, and we start looking for another job, first I have to go up and say, what? What do you want to do there? What will it feel like? Who will be the people you'll be interacting? What is going to be a relationship like? What do you do? What do you believe about it? So we start there. And then gradually we kind of learn to bring it down through our expressions, through our talks, through our conversations. But know that you have to do it. You can't go to the tarot reader and be told that this is what you should do. A tarot reader will give you some nice, juicy bits and say, hey, these forces are working for you. These forces are holding you back. That's very good. But ultimately, we have to personally remove the stuff that is holding us back. Third point, do you know what you want in life? A lot of the times when I speak to people and they'll say, you know what, I need to do something has to change. So what do you want to change? I don't like the relationship I'm in. I don't like the job. I don't like the place where I live. I don't like. So we are always very, very aware of what is not working, what is crushing us. And that's a very good place to begin. But I want to tell you two things in this context. One is the place you are in is exactly the place where you need to be in order for you to feel this crunch so that you can change. That is your higher intelligence saying that you don't need to be here anymore. It's time for you to move. Whatever you needed to learn for your soul to grow from this situation, it's done. Now you have to move somewhere else. So you will feel suffocated, you will feel oppressed, you will feel suppressed, you will feel depressed, and all kinds of stuff will go on till you wake up one day and say, hey, this got to change. And then you say, oh my goodness, my husband has to change, or my children have to give me more space and blah, blah, blah. No. Nobody's going to do anything. You have to make the change. And so how are we going to make that change? Is to become like a child and start imagining what is it going to be like when we change. That little meditation that we did, practice doing that. If I were to get into a different relationship, what is that relationship going to look like? How will it be different from this? What am I doing in that relationship? What's happening? What is the interaction? All that, unless you can imagine it, you cannot create it. Simple. It comes from there. The inspiration comes. You got to change. It moves through your imaginary, sixth sense. Then it moves into your throat center. You speak about it. You talk about it. But you can never say, that never happened. I don't know. I could never do that. Well, those are limitations. I'm coming to that. So be clear. It's not always easy to be clear for short. So if I tell you today, all right, 6 months from now, on the 30th of June, on my birthday, what is your life going to be? You may not be able to say it clearly, but at least you can imagine, or you can wish for, you can ask. That is a very, very critical part of this process of managing change. If you don't like what's going on, how would you like it to be? We cannot allow ourselves to keep looking at what's not working. It'll continue to be that way. All right, so if you have to be, the clarity will come more and more as you practice this thing. So I'm going to suggest to you, you imagine it, you visualize it, you dream it, you feel it, you talk about it, you write about it, you describe it the way you want it to be, not the counter, not the parts that are not working. Get excited about it. Very important. Think of yourself like a little child. Children go around creating this fantasy. Oh, when I'm older, this is what I'm going to be like. So exactly with the same kind of innocence, that same kind of non-attachment to will it ever happen or not. That's the mind. That's our adult mind. So keep that aside for the time being. And then you have to ask all these wonderful friends of yours that you have made friends with in their higher realms, your guardian angels and your team and you have to tell them. Tell them means what? Not necessarily you have to speak. You speak it if you want. You write letters if you wish. But essentially, you just make an offering saying, this is my desire. This is my desire. I'm sending it up to the greater reality. Send me everything that I need to receive, all the wisdom, all the thinking, all the knowledge, all the people who will help me, all the resources, all the money, all the time, all the energy. Please bring that down to me. I'm ready here to receive this reality. And then believe it. If you ask for it, it will get to you. Whether you are there at that space to receive it or not is up to you. So here it is coming down, you ask, and you are here looking for it like the proverbial, I'm looking over there because that's where the light is. No, the light is right here. So ask. All right, now everything is energy, right? So we have to create that energy field. Now, this one is not an easy one. Create an energy field which is always bringing that reality in and not pushing it away. And what do we say what affects your energy? So this is where our presence is very important. Our awareness is very important. Our being aware of what are the words that are coming out of my mouth? What is the energy of those words? Those become very important. So what affects the energy? Your attention, your focus, your intention, your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs, perceptions, and judgments. Beliefs are a big thing. We don't realize it. It's deep inside, sitting in the lower belly. Because for generations together, we have always believed that a woman is not as strong as a man. We have to change that. Yeah, our opinions and judgments are real blockers. Because now we've gone and closed. The moment I say, I know what kind of a person you are, oops, I've closed the grate on our interaction outside the boundary of what I think I know. So this idea that I know is a big blocker. I know a lot, but there's a lot that I don't know. So can we keep that window open? And the other thing we have to be really mindful about our energy field is our reactions. So think of it is that our energy field, and I'm sure all of you have to some extent, experienced that. It is a dynamic thing. It's never in one place. Maybe when we're asleep for a while, but it's either dialing up or it's dialing down. Whatever is going on, everything. I have a thought like, oh my goodness, look at that neighbor of mine, what an ass. Boom, dial down. I have a thought like, weekend is coming. I'm going for a party. I'll be meeting my friends. Dial up. It's constantly happening. So we cannot sort of relax and say, oh my goodness, now what? The whole, the war is coming to our doorstep. Dial down. Which means what? I've lost power. I don't have anything. So the best thing to do is, if I cannot influence that in any way, I'm not going to place my attention there. No point. If I can, in some way, I can influence it, then of course I will take those actions. But otherwise, throw it out of your energy field. It's not doing you any good. It's just dialing you down. It's bringing your energy into this place where it's you can't function. You're like, so many people I've met, I just don't know what to do. I wake up in the morning and I'm in this place. I don't know what to do. Well, breathe first thing, you know. So sit and breathe for a while. Go out into the nature and breathe. That's where you begin. Because as you do that and as you charge this body up, then the other centers start operating and you start receiving those that knowledge and the downloads that we need. So this dialing up is a very, very good thing. And you make your subconscious your friend. How do you make your subconscious your friend? Some of it you know as we grow up, we know. But the best way to identify your subconscious is telling you other triggers. Spontaneous, resistance. Oops, can't do that. Oh, where did that come from? Why can't you do that? Now, but you have to now take time and contemplate that. What's the fear? The one that I really like to suggest at these times is ask yourself, what is my fear? What can I not do that? And then you'll find, because I don't have this, I don't have the experience, I don't have the knowledge, I don't have the time, I don't have the energy. Whatever is your stuff, ask again. So what happens if I went ahead and did that anyway? Well, I don't know what will happen. I might die. That is the ultimate fear, by the way. But spiritually, you will never die. This body will have to go someday. Whether you do the thing you want, you love, or not. People have died trying to figure out how an airplane goes. So you and I can travel today, but they sacrificed their lives. Why? Because it was a passion. They didn't care. I fall off the sky and die. So what? At least I had fun doing it. So remember that what is the fear? And as soon as you identify that, you have to be very candid. This is not an easy thing to do. Because, if I say, oh, I'm fearful that I won't have money, I'll become homeless. Okay, so you're homeless. Now what? Are you going to jump into the river and kill yourself? But that is also an option. But then you have to come back in another lifetime because you didn't learn that lesson. Or you can, do whatever is within your reach. And at the end of it, you will always hit a place where it is a limitation that you've put upon yourself. I don't know enough. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough energy. All right. So recognize that. The moment you recognize it, it starts to dissolve. You don't have to do anything. You just have to recognize, as soon as the mind gets it, oh, yes, I feel like I don't have enough time to do everything that I want to do. All right. Do I have time today to do some of the things that I want to do? So this is what they mean when they say, come back to the now, be present, be here and now. So we are not putting things, of course we will plan. This is life, we have to plan. But your limitations, if you're saying, I want to do this, but I'm not getting it done because of X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z are not that relevant as what is my belief around this situation? What is my fear? Why am I limiting myself? So your subconscious will always get triggered when you get into fear. You step into a fear space, dial down, oops. So sit and ask yourself, what's going on here? It's a great exercise. It's called the art of contemplation. All right, so that brings us to this wonderful place of convert love into fear. I will not take more than another 5 minutes, I promise. So how do you convert love into fear? Oh, I'm sorry. Why am I speaking backwards? Convert fear into love. All right, I just want to show you this wonderful other screen that I have ready, which will tell you, I love this. This comes from, it's called the Emotional Guidance Scale. It comes from Esther Hicks. They've created this. So here is this. This one on the right-hand side is a downward spiral. Look at the words, if you can. I will send this to you, by the way. Boredom, pessimism, frustration, overwhelmment, disappointment, doubt, and it keeps going, getting worse and worse and worse. Then it goes to anger, revenge, hatred, blah, 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 jealousy. Right into the bottom is powerlessness, depression, fear, total victim feeling. And so, keep this with you. Plaster it on your bathroom mirror so you know if you're worrying about something, you're in your downward spiral. Worry is one of the most damaging, dissipating life force emotions, and any of these other ones. Then the other one on the left-hand side, which is green, is a upwardly mobile, upwardly moving spiral. It starts with contentment. If I can just feel contentment with my today, then I see hopefulness, then I see optimism, then I have positive expectations and beliefs, enthusiasm. So this is the dial up. Now, this is a very generic thing which we can refer to and use, but the question is that what is your personal dial up? What makes you rise up? And here is, there is a little meditation I have in my YouTube channel. It's from the Heart Math Institute. All it says is that breathe, do heart focused breathing, then bring in a feeling of love, something you love in life, anything that you love in life. It doesn't matter. It can be your puppy. It can be having an ice cream with your grandchildren. It can be taking a walk in the park. Anything that gives you that upliftment that I'm here, I'm alive, life is good. Let's do more of that. So you and only you know what is that for you. What are your dial-up buttons? Keep it handy and ready. Oh, I'm worrying. Oops, switch. How can I stop worrying? So prayers, chants, take a swim, take a walk, find a friend, talk to somebody, great. But you cannot allow yourself in that, because where you're going down, the stuff that you're asking for is waiting there upstairs. It cannot reach you. It's waiting to drop, but it cannot reach you because you are somewhere else. And the last, that was actually the last. And this one, I want to just point out just an example of how you can convert fear into love, because I said earlier that the place you're in is exactly the place where you need to be. So one quick example. This is very common. I hate my job. You hate your job. But hate is not a good thing. It dissipates, it drains you. It makes you get very dense. Why are you in this job that you hate? Why are you spending so many hours in your life? Oh, but how can I leave? Why can't you leave? Because it pays me a salary every month. I have to first find another job. The other job will come. But why can't you leave? Because I have to put food on the table for my family. All right, so there's a first thing, gratitude. Top of the left-hand spiral is gratitude and appreciation. All right, so instead of feeling hate my job, which is your right-hand spiral, which is pulling you down, can you stop that and start being grateful? Today, I have this job. Thank you very much that I can put food on the table. Next, what else? My fellow workers hate me. All right, convert it. How would you like it to be? Well, I would like them to value me. Do you value them? You're telling me they hate you. Obviously, you're not valuing them. Can you change that into love? Everybody who is around me is here to teach me a lesson. Thank you. So this is the whole conversion of the way we look at life and people and instances and convert them. It requires tremendous amount of presence, personal presence in situation. What is it that I'm doing which is stopping this? And some of you are present over here, and we have I've really had a wonderful time working with you. In fact, one of you who at some point of time was able to create that energetic space to move out of a very, very tough situation. But now that everything is going very well, tickety-boo, fine, I don't have to worry about it. But the moment we get into that space of tightness again, oh, I'm tight, oh, it's not working, I have to remember what was it. Sometimes you need to come and see Malavika again to be reminded, like this friend of mine did, which is fine. But the thing is when you're aware that when I am being put in a place of, oops, what's happening here? I can't handle it. It seems like I don't know what to do. That is the time to pull out your dial-up stuff. What are my options? What am I not doing that's keeping me in this place? Because when I'm in this place, my high self is clearly telling me, hey, it's time for you to move. Not only that, here's the good news. High self is also saying, now that you are here, you have all the facilities you need in order to be able to make that transition, to move from here. You have all the strength, all the wisdom, the knowledge you may have to get from some people because we don't always have the knowledge, but you have everything, like it's like you're going to cook this thing, all the ingredients are here. Now, how to chop it, how to cut it, in what order to mix it, maybe a skill you'll have to learn, but all the ingredients are here. Your willingness is here, your desire is here. All you need is the faith and to be able to move. So that's my little spiel over here. Again, and again, I'm going to go backwards from this side. Step 7, dial up. Keep your dial-up buttons handy and ready. Always stay in a place of gratitude and appreciation. Step 6, learn to convert fear into love. Contemplate. Through contemplation. What am I afraid of? Make friends with your subconscious. Pay attention to those spontaneous negative feelings and resistances and ask yourself why. Build your attractor field. That's the process of building the attractor field so that my energy field, and I always like to say this is a no-fly zone. Nobody comes in who drains my energy. I only allow those folks in here who will mutually, not raise me up, we'll mutually raise each other up. So keep your attractor field clear. Be clear on what you're trying to create. That's step number 3. Own your soul sovereignty. You are the master of your life and your universe. There's nobody else out there to rescue you. And by the same token, don't rescue anybody. It's a great dissipator of energy. You know, oh, my son is having a bad time. I need to rescue him out. No, love the boy. Give when he asks for help, give help. Don't rescue. If somebody says, I need your hand to climb up, yeah, but also teach the wisdom. And the first one, of course, is you are not alone. You have your family, friends, teachers, counselors, whoever, they're all out there. You have to ask. But beyond the physical, there's a whole crew that is your team that is sitting over there. You can access through your prayers and your intention. With your intention, that's all. It requires attention, intention, the energy starts moving in your direction. I will stop here. Thank you very much and hand this over to Miss Judy. Miss Judy, do you have something here for us?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I do. Here is a question for you, Malavika. When I imagine a change that I want to make, do I have to have the full idea before I start using my imagination to send it out to the universe?
Nope, not at all. You can just start off by saying, my imagination is I'm happy, happier than I am today. I'm really myself. So, you might bring into your imagination sometime when you were feeling that happy and, prancing about, feeling like, wow, life is good. Start there. And keep revisiting that thing was, the moment we go there, we remove the fear that I can't do, it'll never happen. We open up the windows through which the epiphanies can come, the inspiration can come, the imagination will open up. So yeah, no, you don't have to wait. Every day you can edit it. That was my question yesterday. Today my question is something else.
So
Okay.
do you confuse, this is just my question. So do you confuse the universe if you edit it, you send out one thing one day and then the next day, wait a minute, I want to do it differently?
No, you see, the universe will start off with the broad strokes. So I would say when you are, rather than being particular, I want that particular job, which will come later. First, you have to imagine, what are you really expecting that job to give you? Oh, it'll give me a chance to really use my expertise in this field. It'll really give me a lot of information, a lot of opportunities to use that. It'll give me a bunch of colleagues who are going to be respectful because they're all in the same field. They can appreciate my thing. So, but don't say only in this company. You can say that, but that you're narrowing it down. It'll still come to you. But you know what? The universe knows much better which opportunity fits that requirement of yours than this particular person. This is especially true for love relationships. Only that person will do. And know when we get stuck on that, because there is a big lesson, a lot of karmic stuff is sitting there to get cleared out. So yes, that person will come into your life, because if you're really passionately asking, the universe will say, yeah, amen. Yeah, he is yours or she is yours. But the lesson has to be learned. Then, of course, there is a whole different set of love, being able to love and coming out of that fear. It gets complex. So you will not confuse the universe as long as you are talking about, how do I want to feel? And not getting too much preoccupied with determining, oh, that will make me feel this, that will make me feel, only this will make me feel that, and only that will make me feel this. Because we are very limited in our imagination. But if we say, I really want to feel valued and respected and loved and wanted, it may come through some other channel that we have not looked at.
It sounds as though you're saying that fear can enter your imaginings as well. And probably just the important thing is to know that that's what's happening, and to embrace it as something that will teach you what you don't want.
Very well put. Very well put. I would say, rather than fears, limitations. We are allowing our limited thought process to enter the field, which is fine, because that's how we will travel. When you're 5 years old, you still have to learn to climb those stairs, not 5, you're probably 2. The stairs one at a time. Yeah.
Well, we have another question here. I get confused about the spirit helpers, and why would I ask them for help instead of just the ultimate divine source? I'm not sure of the role of other spirit helpers. I have that question too.
Okay, so there is source. Source, if you look at this consciousness, it all starts at source. Call it whatever name. I call it spirit. Spirit is the source of all creation. Now, in order for spirit to reach us here on ground, on planet Earth, you've worked in organization, you have a chairman of the board. You can send your petition to the chairman of the board, but it will be delegated through a whole litany of different levels. So you have the Godhead people, and then you have the gods, and then you have the archangels and the angels and the little angels and the masters and the prophets, and all of them are actually delivering you what we need to do. So there is no difference. You can, whoever you feel comfortable with. Jesus, can you help me drive safely? This I used to do when I used to be very nervous of driving. And immediately that prayer is heard, and I kid you not, I would feel this presence in my passenger seat. Like, boom, somebody came and sat down. my version of Jesus and the being that is coming here, do they match? Who cares? I don't know. All I know is I called Jesus and somebody came. And I'm going to think that that is Jesus in person. This has happened to me multiple times when I have called upon Jesus and shown up, and my client lying on the table says, I see Jesus. And I ask her, what is he saying? He's saying, asking me to forgive my son-in-law. She was very upset. So we don't have to question. So the mind says, do the research, find out the distinction. We are saying, remove the separation and restriction, bring it all together, because everything that is done with love and positive intention affects everything else. Simplify it. The finer details will come when you're closer to that goal.
You know, I remember one time having this discussion in Course of Miracles group that I'm a part of, and the leader suggested that it's all one, it's all the same thing. And if you're thinking, oh my gosh, I have to understand all about spirit guides, I have to understand about all the angels, I have to understand about all the masters, you really don't. And wherever you connect, it's like water. It will, you know, when it's flowing down, it finds the path of least resistance. When you send up a request, it really doesn't matter who you're sending the request to when the intention is that you want divine help. Whatever help is most appropriate to you will make contact.
That said, though, you know, if you are really getting charged, I want to know more about it, all these angels that Doreen Virtue talks about, and the archangels, and invite them to my house for 3 nights and 3 days. It sounds so fun and so exciting. Do it. Because that, you know, absolutely, if it trips your trigger, if it gives you a thrill, absolutely do it, because that keeps you, you know, engaged with the process. That keeps you, your mind engaged. You know, I know that when I call upon Archangel Michael, he shows up and helps me with this. You know, just this morning, I was emptying the dishwasher, and there's a piece of equipment that I couldn't find. And when you can't find something which is very important and integral, you go crazy. And I remembered a little prayer which my grandmother had taught me, to call upon a particular entity and say, when you lose anything, call her, she will show you. And sure enough, by virtue of my habit, I'm calling upon her, and then 2 minutes later, there it is. So it's your intention. It's the intention that is emanating from your heart and from your inner child. Remember, these two are very important. The heart, your inner child, your voice, what are you saying? One piece I want to just add is that really pay attention to the words you speak, what you say, what you express. We don't realize how often we say, create vibrations of things that we don't, it's contrary to what we are asking for. Like, oh, that really bugs me. Interesting. Now you just push something away. I would sit down and say, really, why does that keep bugging me so much? Or, you know, we are perpetually passing our judgments on people, that so-and-so is such and such, and so-and-so is the other such and such. It's very limiting. It really, sort of puts these blocks. You can't even see another person as a fellow human being and open your heart. You don't have to live with that person. You don't even have to hang out with that person. But in your mind, create space. So generosity is a big part of creating whatever you want. And generosity, we think, you have to be rich, have to have a lot of material wealth in order to be generous. No, generosity of the heart, to be able to open space, to give space and say, you're okay. You're also God's creation. Do what you're doing. You want to go to war. You want to annex Ukraine. That's your path, my friend. I'm not coming anywhere near you. nor am I going to start taking sides now, because that is a dynamic of the world. I'm not going to focus my intention and attention over there, because it brings my energy down. It makes me feel like the world is hopeless. Unless I can see beyond that and say, no, this is necessary for us to learn that this is not the solution. And so when I pray, I'm praying for that reality. So when there are two polar sides, it's always moving towards a third level, which is of a greater, higher level of consciousness.
Are you ready for another question?
Yes, ma'am.
People say just change something if you don't like it. That seems easy, but it feels very hard to me.
Well, that is exactly what we are talking about. You know, when we let's take a very, very real situation like a relationship. I've been in this marriage for 25 years and I can't stand it. How can I change it? I can't just walk away, because we have all these ancestral programmings, social programming, racial programming. You are a woman, how will you get out there and make life on your own? All these are our limitations. Yes, it's not easy, but it is possible, and it's arduous. Well, I won't even say arduous. It's a process which requires patience and application, and not letting go, not giving up. So essentially what we are saying is not that I want to leave this relationship. What we are saying is that I want to create a relationship which feels different. And I'm here to tell you that I know people, my clients, who have been able to continue within the same relationship, but change the dynamics so radically that it feels like new. So I told this lady who was really, really feeling in a place completely suffocated. I said, you know what? If can you for a while pretend that you don't know your husband at all? All these patterns that are in your head. If I say this, he'll say that. When I do this, you do that. If I don't, blah 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 blah. Just clean that slate and pretend you're meeting him for the first time. And this is hard work. This is not easy. So, but try it. And this woman was able to do it. I said, you don't have to do it for very long. Just do it for a few days and you will see what a difference it makes, which she did. I'm happy to say she was able to do that for about a week. And then what happened is that she told me that she was absolutely frightened of flying. And she wanted to go and visit her dad, who was, towards the end of his life. Her husband, who was never even looking at her or helping her in any way, said, I will accompany you on her flight to see her dad. And she picks up the phone and calls me. She said, I can't believe this. I said, this is the power of energy. If you are not putting him in that box which you have created by believing that he's this, he's that, he'll never do this, he'll never do that, etc., then suddenly he feels free, because that energy speaks very loudly. And if somebody is putting you in a box, you feel in that box. When you are able to let go of that, then the other person is freed up to be able to be who he or she really is. This is not easy. This requires, help, somebody to handhold you through this. But yeah, it is possible.